Hi, and welcome to a new video. Wow, it's been a while since I said that, so let me reintroduce myself. I'm Circus, and this is the fourth part of my Deltarune as Bakumon series. This video is going to be the secret boss special, but if you'd like to see the main characters and chapter bosses be turned into Pokemon, then I'd suggest watching some of the earlier parts. I'm also not going to be covering anything chapter 5 related today, since I think with the amount of characters in that chapter, it would probably make for its own separate video. That's everything for intro stuff, so now let's get to the designing. So with most of these secret boss Pokemon, I did some rough traditional sketches to prepare them for drawing digitally. I did want to get a more interesting pose for Jevil, so I tried the side angle, and that's the one I ended up going with. I obviously need to get his gesture elements like his hat, ruff, and bells, since they're a big part of his visual identity. He's definitely more of a generic imp looking guy in the game, but to set him apart from Pokemon like Impidimp, I added on some more rodent-like anatomy on his face and legs. I mainly had a Jevil in mind, which is a kind of rodent that gets around by hopping. It helps that his battle spray is constantly jumping up and down, so I don't think the hopping pose looks too out of place for him. I also like his Jack-in-the-Box style spring neck and included it here. The Devil's Knife is now part of his tail, and I think that was the best place for it, although it's a little sad to see his little J-tail go. For coloring, I pretty much discolor picked from his sprite. The shiny, which you will see in a minute, is based on his plushie, which has slightly different colors. It could just be a lighting thing, but I did look at different pictures of it, and that yellow is definitely different. Weird story that's kinda tangentially related to Jevil. The week before Chapter 5 came out, I had a dream that there was a new Darkner NPC that looked exactly like Solrock, and I guess you could bring them with you to Castletown where they would become Strom's best friend. In the dream I found out about this because I was looking at social media instead of playing the game for some reason, and people were drawing a lot of angsty art of Strom and Jevil with this thing in the background. So can't wait to see that happen in Chapter 6. This is Jevilish, the Chaos Pokemon. It is fairy and dark. It is always trying to play bizarre games without a care for the safety of others. When Jevilish expends all its energy, it will fall into a deep sleep. I don't know why, but I felt like I was fighting for my life designing Spamton. There's just so many directions you can go with him, like more of a digital glitch Pokemon, or something more puppet themed, or really highlighting the sketchy businessman side. In the end, I settled for more of a machine-like route, and combined that with the idea of junk mail. I know junk mail doesn't exactly mean spam, but they're used interchangeably sometimes, and Spamton does live and work in places full of trash. So like I said, I settled on a mechanical vibe after doing these smaller sketches. One of them was inspired by Mettaton, of course, but also this Man Mailer character shown in the Chapter 2 concept art interview. I like the vibe of that sketch, but I also made this really ridiculous one of him where he has paper-like legs. I decided to combine those two so that he had these weird ticket things coming out of him, as well as this little phone cord-like spiral that could also be like a stray spring or something. My hope was that these extra add-ons and his crinkle arms would make him feel more like a rundown machine. I was thinking a lot about how this evolutionary line would work. Like going off of the implied Spamton Addison backstory, the Addisons would have to be a prevo to the Spamton Pokemon. Or they're branches of a split evolution? I could see that. Here's Mailmet, from Mailman and Ailmet, the big shot Pokemon. This is electric and dark type. Mailmet can repeat special phrases I heard long ago, although something seems to be wrong with its memory. It is not encouraged to take anything Mailmet offers you. The shiny is based on his appearance before his spam was taunt, but it's kind of funny that it looks more like a Swatchling now instead of Swatch. For our next Pokemon, okay, it says to just put this weird disc into the machine. Spamton Neo definitely has a lot more going on visually, but also felt more comfortable to design. Since Spamton now literally has strings, I wanted to lean more into the puppet theming with the posing. To avoid just copying Mega Bannet, I tried to make him look more like he was strutting against some invisible strings. The joints and overall body shape are referenced from marionettes as well. I decided to carry over the little phone cord spring into the chain his heart's normally attached to. Sadly, it doesn't have the little Spamton face. The rest of his design is pretty much just his Deltarune design, although I changed his colors around to use a little more of that purple. This is my first time designing a Mega, and I'm pretty happy with how it came out. I guess one nitpick I have is that it feels like a weird leap from base Spamton, but I guess that's the price I pay for somewhat accurate Spamton Neo. I also realized that with the shiny colors, he looks like when you fire a big shot at him and he gets mad. This is Mega Mailment. I didn't write a dex entry, but you can think up one about how much this hurts him if you want, I guess. On to chapter 3, we have, okay, I'll do both. So I know it's debatable whether the knight counts as a secret boss, but I was going to do a knight design at some point, and it might as well be now. Interestingly, the knight changes its shape a lot, so I tried to incorporate its orb form and its weird ribs into this Pokemon. I also molded its sword to its hand for some asymmetry, and just because I thought it looked cool. I gotta say, I think this is probably my least favorite of the video. I think the design itself is okay, but I wish I had added some sort of texture or something to break up all the dark areas. I was referencing my Titan Fakemon design, which is similarly all black, but I think that works better because of all the white cracks on its skin. I think I also had trouble with the values, because at first it was going to be all dark, but then I thought the lines would get lost, so I changed it to have that dark gray value. Maybe a rematch with this design is in order, but not until this video gets done. Here is Obsidian from Obsidian and Deer, the Night Pokemon. It is psychic and fighting. Obsidian can shift and change its shape at will. It draws its blade from its body to deliver powerful and precise attacks. Its shiny is based on its purple aura, for lack of a better word, during its fight, and the red of its attacks. Now we have the Shadow Mantle holder. This was pretty fun because they're such a simple design, but you can do a lot stylization-wise. You can make them look like a bat, or a manta ray, or a cephalopod. I went with bat in the end, since they're found in a cave-like area, but made it pretty wide to distinguish it from other bat Pokemon. One out of the ordinary thing about this art was that I used more intense lighting. I really wanted to sell the flames coming off of them and from within them, even though it's not super accurate to the Pokemon style. Another fun detail was that I tried to draw their fangs so that they would look more similar to Ram's bangs. Wait, hold on. Actually, those are his ears. I just realized. And the shiny colors are also based on him, to really drive it home. This is Mantle, the Umbra Pokemon. It is Ghost and Fire. Its body is made of shadow. Mantle leaves a blaze of fire in its wake. It only appears in the coldest and darkest of places. We've arrived at our last two Pokemon. Gerson is another straightforward feeling design. I kind of just drew him so that it looked less like he was wearing human clothes, and shifted his body into something more tortoise looking. The scarf and the hat are still there, but I say you could probably explain those away by calling the hat a scale and saying the scarf is some sort of pink moss growing on him because he's old. I didn't want to ditch all of his comfy outfit, okay? I changed his cane to be a broken off piece of his hammer, which is my justification for why I'm making him pure steel. Let's talk about that so that I don't have to mention it during the reveal. Originally I was gonna make him normal steel, but then I realized Susie would body him since she's a fighting type now, and as funny as that is, I just decided to make him steel. I feel like at this point I've kind of given up on type legibility. I did briefly consider ghost type, but that fits the design even less than steel. Here is Mentort from Mentor and Tortoise. Even with its worn down shell, Mentort is still quite lively. It may use unorthodox ways to pass down its lessons. Its shiny is based on his undertail colors. Now let's mega evolve this man. Drawing this felt so much harder than his base form, but I think that had more to do with finding the pose than the actual design. I really wanted the confidence of his standing upright with the hammer sprite, but I was fighting against his tortoise legs to make it work. And then I tried imagining it from a different angle and it just didn't feel exciting enough. So I worked more from the sprite where he's kicking and running in place. This felt a lot better and made me feel more in the groove of drawing. Like, obviously good pose does not equal good design, but it definitely makes me feel better seeing it in motion, you know? His colors and overall armor are pretty directly inspired by his Deltarune design, but I added some scaly skin to his arms and legs for more interest. His shiny is again inspired by his undertail colors, but I changed his armor color and hair color to match Undyne's, just for fun. Thanks for watching and for all the support on the last uploads, especially with the comments. I really appreciate hearing your thoughts on the designs. That being said, I'm actually going to take a little break from Fakemon videos after this. At this point I have more Pokemon related videos on this channel than general art videos, so I'd like to get back to making some of those. I'm also planning on doing Smogus this year, which is a challenge in August where you draw dragons every day. Of course, this doesn't mean that the Fakemon videos are gone forever. I still have the Chapter 5 video to do, as well as some other characters I'd like to Pokemonify, so I'll probably pick it back up with those sometime later this year. Okay, now that's really it for this video, so I'll see you next Saturday.